Going on, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Keeping It Short. With me, you can't see him right now, but I promise he will show up, is James.
I'm back.
And then my good friend Andrew here on the bottom right. We are going to be talking about the NBA postseason and giving some predictions. This really snuck up on me. I completely did not realize that the NBA playoffs were starting this week. Usually it's like the week after the Stanley Cup starts. But Andrew, how you doing, man?
I'm doing just fine, gentlemen. How you doing this evening?
Good,
Late.
It is late.
Sorry, I'm glowing.
No, James,
Okay.
I think with this new, you said it earlier, commute, I think we had to start a little bit later. And then tonight we just happened to do a back-to-back, which is why it's so late, obviously. But let's get right down to it. Andrew, I still respect the fact you're wearing a Dallas Maverick shirt, even though they are eliminated from the postseason.
In Dirk we trust. In Dirk 2020.
But let's get started. First round matchups. We're going to start in the East with the number 1 seed Toronto against Washington. Andrew, am I crazy to think Washington can make this somewhat competitive?
No, because Washington has the best player out of both teams in John Wall. Don't know what John Wall is going to show up. Heck, Bradley Beal's just as good as DeMar DeRozan as a player.
Agreed.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but the thing is, until Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan decide to not stink up the playoffs, then I'll start believing in the baby dinosaurs, as Shannon Sharp calls them. But until then, it's the Wizards versus the baby dinosaurs.
That's true. James, what about you?
I do think the Wizards can keep it competitive. I do see the Raptors winning in 6, though.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I had Raptors in about 6. What about you, Andrew?
I mean, I wanted to say Wizards in 6. Like, that was what I think would happen. But, or that's what my heart says would happen. But I think Toronto will win in 6. But that's when their little playoff train stops. Is they're getting this first series win. No more after that.
Yeah. And we're going to explain why with this next. So we all got Toronto. But next, Cleveland Cavaliers and Indiana Pacers. Andrew, I think we all know your answer.
Sweep.
Yeah. You're going to say sweep?
Sweep. Same.
Sweep. I'm gonna give Indiana a game. I don't like picking sweeps. I'll say Indiana gets one at home. But yeah, Cavs in 5.
Steve, I definitely think is your most improved player of the year. I mean,
No doubt.
Anyone can get it. And Miles Turner, I think, is a really good young prospect. On top of having like Thaddeus Young and good old Lance Stevenson on your team, it'll be fun to watch Lance and LeBron just because that's always fun.
Yeah.
But I don't. Pacers are a good young team, though. I think that for the future, they got a solid future. They won that trade with the Paul George trade because I mean they got Sabonis too, who just dropped 30 points the other night. I mean he ain't his dad.
I didn't even know they still had Lance Stevenson.
Yeah, they signed him at like the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say they re-signed him.
Minimum.
Whole time.
No, it was more of like a whole. It was like a fan. It's pleasing the fans, I think, honestly.
Yeah. So yeah, unanimous Cavs. This next one, Philadelphia and Miami. We got a homer, obviously, and James up at the top. Andrew, what do you think?
This is tough because, I was watching Sixers the other night. I mean, they have 100 points. It's not even the fourth quarter. They've been playing, 16 in a row now? How many they've won in a row? They're playing amazing. But don't count out playoff D-Wade because he's old. But I also watched him annihilate Charlotte 2 years ago, and I thought he was old and washed up then. Don't count out Whiteside. I think Dragic is the biggest X factor out of this whole series because – right now, I mean, you got Simmons, and who knows what Embiid's going to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
And the thing is, Simmons is good, and Philadelphia's got good core, solid guys, and Covington, who's really one of the most underrated players in the league, I think. I think Covington would be Dallas's best player this year if he actually played full season for Dallas. But I think I don't really know. I think the Sixers will win the series, but I wouldn't be surprised if Miami wins. I like the Sixers in 6, 7 games.
I got Sixers 6 too.
Dragic, I think, is going to be the biggest X factor out of this series.
Yeah, I don't know much about Miami. I trying to do some research. They got Goran Dragic, who's kind of underrated. Deion Waiters is okay. and Hassan Whiteside, who could guard Embiid probably if he comes back. Don't really know what to make of Miami. Yeah, I know, but
the idea of Whiteside versus Embiid is the most intriguing player first round matchup because they hate each other and they're part of the Twitter fingers. They got comments. They've had comments since the beginning of the season, preseason. So it's fun. It's fun. But the thing is the thing about the Heat is they've showed times this year they've struggled, but there's been times they've looked really good too. So.
And they got the more playoff experience. They got the coach. I think it's going to be interesting.
Sixers are so hot right now. Yeah, it's hard for me to pick them against the Heat. But I like Spoelstra over who's the Sixers coach again? Is it Brett Brown? Yeah. I like Spoelstra's coaching expertise over his. But at the same time, Ben Simmons is the truth, and so is Joel Embiid. So if they're healthy and playing, it's hard to pick against them.
Sixers are younger, more athletic. I'll take them. I'm going to say I originally had Sixers in 5. I'll go Sixers in 7 right now.
Wow.
Just young team, don't know how they're going to show up in the postseason.
You're right.
I definitely think the home court advantage will come down to that. It'll come down to Philly having the higher seed because Miami's going to get some in Miami. It's hard to win in Miami playoff time, even when they didn't have LeBron. I mean –
next matchup, my Boston Bruins against the Milwaukee Bucks. We kind of already talked about this, Andrew, but you go ahead.
Some NHL, man. You up on the Bruins, man. You think
just called them the Boston Bruins.
Did I call them the Boston Bruins? I got them on right here. I swear, I got them on my iPad right now. I'm watching them. So that probably what did it. Sorry, my Boston Celtics against the Milwaukee Bucks.
If y'all had Kyrie Irving, I think y'all would sweep them. But it's weird. Like I told you last night when me and you were texting Chaz, like, oh, y'all going to lose first round. You and me agreed. And then I think about it, and I watched what the Bucks just did to the Sixers last night, or what happened with the Bucks and Sixers last night. And I'm like, the Bucks have the Greek Freak, Jabari Parker, all this talent, and yet they remind me of the Nuggets of the mid-2000s. All this talent, yet it goes nowhere. So I don't know. Y'all have a better coach.
Yep.
They have a better superstar, I guess. But I think Celtics in 6.
Really, you're gonna go with the Celtics now?
Celtics in 6. After thinking about it and then watching that last night, because I was saying that, but I'm telling you, it doesn't look good going into playoff. But the Sixers annihilating you like that. I don't care if it was in Philadelphia. You got the Greek Freak, and I've heard all season about Milwaukee, and all that. Now, I do think Jabari Parker could be the come-out party for Jabari Parker, who I think is still talented and still has the potential to be a superstar if he can stay healthy.
James, what about you?
I got Bucks in 7.
You're gonna go with the Bucks. I'm going with
I really think it just comes down to Boston doesn't have any superstars left.
No, I do like
score with 2 minutes left.
The thing is I think collectively Boston can check Giannis. He's going to get his, but it'll come down to it is guys like Marcus Smart, his defense on Eric Bledsoe and Brandon Jennings. That's going to be big because I don't think. Marcus Smart's one of the best defensive point guards in the league. I mean, that's about all he has going for him because he's a nutcase and he's a headache. But at the same time, Kyrie Irving, the hero ball Marcus Smart could come out for the Celtics. But having Brad Stevens, I think, helps the Celtics because he'll have them ready. He'll have them well coached. He'll have a good game plan for the Bucks. So
he's not going to allow Giannis to beat him, which is good.
Yeah, you make a lot of good points, Andrew. I hate picking against my guy, Brad Stevens. I've loved him since his days at Butler. But I'm going to go with Milwaukee. Like James said, they have the superstar. Boston doesn't. But, Terry Rozier has been playing well since Kyrie went down.
Rozier was a steal. That's – Rozier's a good player. And I think he could start on a whole lot of teams. The Celtics have a gem in his because, he wasn't there to be the guy, and they just found him. So he's better than a lot of team point guards they drafted in the first round the past few years.
That's true. I'm going to go with Bucks in 6, though. I can't buy into a team without Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward. So now moving into the West, top seed, Houston Rockets against Minnesota. Again, same with Toronto, Washington. Andrew, am I crazy to think the Timberwolves might keep this competitive?
They can keep it competitive if Houston goes cold.
Yeah.
I just think too much firepower offensively for them. I think Timberwolves will win a game, and it'll be at home. But I like Rockets in 5.
Yeah.
Gentlemen sweep.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God, Rockets offense right now is just out of this world. So
I agree.
Literally.
Andrew, James, you agree?
Gentlemen sweep.
Yeah.
Rockets.
I'm going with Houston 2 in 5. Just Minnesota's kind of intriguing, I think. They have somebody I don't think the Rockets can guard in Karl Anthony Towns. They have the wing player and Jimmy Butler and what's his name? Andrew Wiggins. But they don't have the guards that the Rockets do.
Remember what I said earlier?
What's that?
I would. This would be a great time.
Yeah, that's
this
true.
would be a time and a great opportunity for old Derrick Rose to make an appearance. And if there's an inkling of old Derrick Rose, this could be a fun series. But I don't think it.
No, that ain't gonna happen.
I'm not a Derrick Rose guy. Don't like him.
I would still hold out, thinking that a piece of his old self will come back and
Kyrie replaced.
This next matchup, Andrew, I'm curious to what you have to say. I honestly think it's kind of a toss-up. Oklahoma City and Utah.
I think it is too, because on paper, Oklahoma City's a better team, but Westbrook is never going to win anything. Like, Westbrook could single-handedly lose them this series because Carmelo Anthony's washed up. I'm not going to speak evil on my dude Paul George, even though he has been playing not that great.
Real quick, though, listeners, he knows it's pronounced Westbrook, but him and my good buddy Chaz call him Westbrick.
Oh, Westbrick. I call him Westbrick for a reason. Yeah, I've called him that since 2012. So, yeah. Westbrick, hero ball. I think Utah will win in 6. I think the Thunder. I mean, the thing about the Thunder's weird because this is the thing. I think Utah wins that series because I think they're better coached and they got a better team. I think all around.
That's true.
I think the Thunder have Westbrook, who's a good athlete and fun. Paul George, who's good on both ends of the floor, and then a washed-up Carmelo Anthony and Steven Adams that'll get you rebounds and play defense. But I think Utah has a deep team of Ricky Rubio, who you could argue him as most improved player of the year too, because he's had an amazing season. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, all these guys. So, I think the Jazz win the series, but the Thunder, watch them win the series, then make the Western Conference Finals.
James, what about you?
I got Thunder in 6. The Jazz are a regular season team. I don't see them make it. When your leading scorer is a rookie, you lost your best player last year to free agency, or was that a trade? Either way,
I think I feel like they are a regular season team as well, but I think they got what I think in playing the Thunder is what helps them. Any other team in the playoffs, I don't think win the series. But this Thunder team, man, I don't understand. There's times they could be Houston, but then Westbrook. I'm telling you, Russell Westbrook is going to find a way to screw that series up for him because I admire Westbrook's talent, him as a player because I have seen through all this BS for like 5-6 years.
He's worried about stats. He always has been. Yeah. He's not that worried about wins. That doesn't mean that he doesn't want to win. I wouldn't say that about him, but he's more worried about his stat. If he gets his triple-double, I don't think he cares that much if they lose.
If it's a tight game with a minute to go, he's going to find a way. Unless he just makes shots, he's going to take some stupid shots. He's going to make a stupid turnover trying to do way too much like he always does.
I'm going to go with James here. Oklahoma City's tough. They really were aggressive in the offseason, went out and got Paul George and Carmelo in not free agency via trade. But it hasn't really clicked. But in a playoff series, I have to take the team with the better talent, I should say, and the Thunder have that.
The Thunder have no business losing this series.
Right.
We're going to talk talent perspective, but
you didn't make the point, but you alluded to it. Utah kind of has nothing to lose. I mean, nobody thought they'd make it after losing Gordon Hayward. But yeah, I'll say Thunder in 7. I think they get it done. The Stars come around Game 7.
Yeah, it'll be a good series.
Yeah. Here's another one. I'm kind of intrigued with Portland and New Orleans. I don't know what to make of Portland. I couldn't tell you anyone on that team outside of Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum.
Well, Nurkic ain't bad. He's not nothing special, and he's kind of soft, but he's not bad. I mean, he's really not. Lillard is on. I think Lillard is on a mission to prove stop. I don't know why people still doubt Lillard. I think he's the best. I think he's the best point guard in the league. To Kyrie, him and Kyrie, 1A, 1B, and then everybody else. I would rather have Damian Lillard to start a franchise with Westbrook, Steph Curry. Yeah, I'd rather have Damian Lillard than Steph Curry. I would, from both ends of the floor. Damian Lillard can do it all. You put switch Damian Lillard and Steph Curry's place. I'm telling you, he would have been doing the same stuff Steph Curry would.
What did I say last episode? Literally like a half hour ago. Damian Lillard is my second favorite player. I love him. He's not better than Steph.
I think he's got Russell Wilson. Russell Westbrook ability. He can't shoot as good as Steph, but he could shoot the three. And he's Mr. Big Shot. He's a clutch player.
I do think he's just as good as Kyrie. I think their games are almost exactly the same, and I think his handles might be slightly not as good as Kyrie's, but he can do everything else. He can pull up from three, can take it to the hoop.
He's underrated for sure. If he were in any other market, probably except Portland, we'd be talking about him.
I think this Portland team, outside of C.J. McCollum, because he is really good himself, this Portland team reminds me of some of those Kobe teams that he had with the Lakers, that he would get them to the playoffs and solely just because of his talent. That's what these Lillard teams remind me of, because Portland on paper, outside of Lillard and McCollum, that's not a good team. They got some young, good play. I mean, Evan Turner is a solid little role player, but he's nothing. He's definitely not what he was drafted to be, or expected to be.
But New Orleans, I don't really know what to make. I mentioned this to James. Anthony Davis is obviously going to be the best player probably on the court, but they don't really have anyone else outside of him.
You don't.
But the thing is
big man play though. The Blazers are going to win this series because they have the better guard play.
Yeah.
Hands down. They have two really good guards, and they're going to win because of that.
I'll agree. Andrew, what's your prediction?
Bench at all. New Orleans bench, man. Rondo and Drew Holiday are some solid guards, but Dante Cunningham or whatever's coming off the bench for you, and I just don't. I think AD can only do so much for them in this series. I like the Trailblazers in 6.
James, what do you think?
I said the same.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. Portland in 6. If the New Orleans had more guards, I think they could pull off an upset, but I just don't see it happening. So last first round matchup, Golden State, San Antonio. I think this is pretty obvious, but who you got? Sweep. Going with the sweep, really.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard, I'd give him a game or two, but sweep.
Is Kawhi Leonard coming back? Do we know?
No.
I don't think so. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
I'm taking Golden State too. I thought with Leonard it might be 5 or 6 games, but I'll go with Golden State in 5.
If they were playing anybody other than the Warriors first round or the Rockets, if they were playing the Thunder or the Jazz, Trailblazers, or the Pelicans, I'd say, try to play Kawhi. I wouldn't even try it against Golden State.
Yeah,
why even risk worse when you know damn well they ain't winning that series?
A few nights ago, I took the standings on my computer and created a bracket and just kind of predicted which teams I would. And at the time, I think San Antonio was the 5 seed, and they were facing Utah. I was like, I'll pick San Antonio to beat Utah any day of the week. But now with this, like you said, Golden State or Houston, now that they have to face Golden State, I don't see them getting a win. So now we're moving on to the second round. We're going to go back to the East. Pretty much we all have the same picks, but Toronto and Cleveland. Andrew, I think it's pretty obvious.
If Toronto plays Cleveland, they might get one. It'll be like 2015, 2016. They might get 1 or 2. I like the Cavs at 5 or 6.
Yeah. I'll give Toronto a game. Yeah. James, you agree?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I'll give Toronto a game, but they have nobody that can guard LeBron. Nobody does, though. Philly, and I think, Andrew, you had Philly and Boston. Who are you going with?
I like Philly in 7.
Really? You're going to go with Philly?
7 game series.
Philly's
we'll give it everything they want and then some.
James, I think you had Philly and Milwaukee. Who are you going with? I know you're the hometown kid, though.
I'm. Hold on. You said Philly and Milwaukee. You meant Philly and Boston, right?
No. I think you picked Milwaukee, though. Correct?
Oh, out of Boston. Yeah, I did. So I do have Philly and Milwaukee. Yeah. Oh, so Philly in 6.
You're going with so Philly. I'm going with Philly too. I feel really. I don't know what to make of it. Just Philly is just hot right now. They have the better players. Milwaukee, Giannis. I don't know. I can't buy into Milwaukee. They have a lot, like you said, Andrew. They got a lot of talent. Haven't really pieced it together yet, though. I think Philly's just playing too well right now. I'll say Sixers in 6. I'll say Sixers in 6. James, by the way, we can't see you. You have the JC icon on up.
Good. Hold on. There I am.
There we go. Okay. And then West, going back to the West, Houston and did we all have OKC? I don't remember. No, you did not. Yeah, that's right, Andrew. You had Utah. So Houston, Utah. Who you got?
Sweep Houston.
Yeah. James, Houston, OKC. I can't hear you.
Houston in 6.
You're going to go with 6, really? You think the Thunder keep it close?
Russell Westbrook is going to have a personal vendetta against James Harden, and he will single-handedly probably win them a game with like 50 points.
I'll go with – I think, honestly, the Thunder, I don't want to say are lucky, but will be fortunate to get out of the first round, considering that talent hasn't really meshed this season. And I think I'm gifting them by saying that they're going to get past the first round, but I don't think it's going to work with Houston. That team has a lot of chemistry. They're playing well. I'm going to say Rockets in 5. So that leaves Portland and Golden State. Andrew, who you got?
Golden State in 5.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, I'll say the same. Golden State in 5.
I'll give Lillard a game. I like him too much. Give him a game.
What's Steph Curry? Is he supposed to be back like after the first round or something?
For sure is what they're saying, but
even without him, I think they'll get through that side of the bracket to face Houston.
Yeah, I think they can get to the Western Conference Finals without him.
Yeah, I agree. So
I don't in the Western Conference Finals without him though.
Yeah, I agree. So Eastern Conference Finals and Western Conference, I think we all have the same unanimous. Cleveland, Philly, Houston, Golden State, correct? Yeah. All right, so Cleveland and Philly, Western Conference Finals. Andrew, who you got?
Cleveland in 5, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to give Philly a game. I might say Cavs sweep.
Philly might
I'm going to give them one game at home.
They might get to it home. James did have a 40-point triple-double the other night, and they still lost, and that was
That's true. But over the course, they might get a game.
They can beat a team in a game. They can win a game in which LeBron dominates. So I think they can get one.
Both are kind of the same. It's not like the Cavs have a dominant point guard, so maybe Simmons can go off.
They could squeeze out 2, but I would agree and say Cavs in 5.
Okay, I'll go Cavs in 5. Y'all have talked me into it. Houston, Golden State. I'm really interested in this. I could go either way. Andrew, who you got?
I don't know. That's the thing is like I really don't like. No, seriously. Even if Golden State's fully healthy, I still don't know because like this is like I
James is already saying it.
There's both teams that have I know Houston and James Harden, Chris Paul haven't proven anything in the playoffs. I know, but I don't know, man, because like I think Chris Paul Steph matchup can go either way, player standpoint. Klay Thompson. James Harden. I think I think Houston's the deeper team because I think if Luke Mbamute is healthy with PJ Tucker, Joe Johnson, Trevor Ariza, all these guys compared to Sean Livingston, Nick Young.
Mbamute though is out for that first round. Who knows? He may miss the rest of the postseason.
I mean, I get it. Cleveland. Wow. Golden State's got the second best player in KD. Who's also super mentally soft too. So what happens if Houston just magically wins? What if it's 1-1 going back to Golden State? What if Houston wins their first 2 games in Houston. Like, what if 2-0 going back to Oakland, all right? Because Golden State's had the number 1 seed the past couple years. So, I mean, what is a Kevin Durant down 2-0? I'm just saying hypothetically happens. So let's just say they're down 2-0. What kind of Kevin Durant's going to come out? Is it going to be like some, fire-breathing dragon ready to dominate, or is it going to be I get offended on Twitter's Kevin Durant and then just not show? I mean, I really don't. That's a good point. Like this, logically, I'm going to say Golden State. Golden State, Cleveland Finals, 4th year in a row. But I don't know, man. Houston's different this year. I think Eric Gordon, is a very big factor in this series because Eric Gordon's actually starting to play the way he was drafted to be 10 years ago. Like he's great from behind the arc. He's just as good as a shooter, almost as anybody that Golden State has outside of Clay and Steph. I don't know. It's going to be a 3-fest. It's going to be the most high-scoring series out of all the playoffs this year. So we'll see.
James, you kind of already alluded to who you got, but I'll give you a chance to have the floor. Who you got?
I almost want to say, if they're healthy, you know what? I'm going to do it. Hot take. The Warriors will sweep the Rockets. The Rockets won't even win one game. I'm going to tell you why. I always look at football and matchups. I'm going to look at basketball and matchups real quick. So we got James Harden, Steph Curry. I know that I'm not talking about as positions because I know he's more of a 2, even though he's been playing kind of a 1. Chris Paul's kind of a 1-2. But so I'd say they're about even players, James Harden and Steph Curry. They're marginally the same. So take that out. And now I want you to compare those rosters, and you tell me who has a better fucking roster after James Harden's off of it. It's not even close. They have Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson. They do have a very deep team. They can hit threes, not as good as the Warriors. I know statistically might say different this season, but better coach, more experience.
You know what? I'll be honest. I don't even know if it's that big of a coaching because I don't even know if Steve Kerr's that better of a coach than Mike D'Antoni. Because
D'Antoni has a good offensive system, but he's never, ever had postseason success once.
He's got the conference finals a few times, but I mean, I think it's hard. Like, I would logically want to say Golden State because, like, usually every year in the playoffs, NBA is the worst sport in regards to there's no parity. Usually the better team wins each and every round. Yeah. There might be the Dallas Mavericks, Golden State Warriors, and then things like that happen. But it's rare that you see an 8 beat a 1. That even in the semifinals, Western Conference Finals, that you see a better team lose to a lesser team seeding wise. I mean, but I do think this year with injuries because I don't know how healthy Steph really is. I mean, he could come back in the second round and then roll his ankle again before the conference final and then for the conference finals. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's my turn.
Dude, and it's like, what have they done? I mean, I get that the last month they've played bad. This whole season they've kind of just like put it on cruise control, but what have the Warriors done since, like, 2014 that makes you think they're not going to absolutely smack the Rockets off the floor? I'll give Rockets tops take them to 6. No way that series goes to 7. No way.
I know one thing.
But I'm going to go Warriors in 5. I'm not going to give them the sweep. I thought about it. I'm not going to give them a sweep. Jimmy Harden will probably get a 50 fucking pointer in there somewhere and win them a game.
Yeah, but I like to say James Harden too because I don't like to put the Harden because he doesn't play defense. So it's kind of like
he's played a little better defense this year. Apparently, the Rockets are like 6th or 7th in defensive efficiency.
What is that crazy stat where Houston's record when Capella, CP3, and Harden all play together? Like that's just a crazy regular season stat. But it's gotta,
Let me ask you this, because I know the Warriors are. When's the last time you think the Warriors were fully healthy and actually tried? Because I'm going to say the finals last year, because I don't think they've tried all year this year.
Because they're playing against.
I'm telling you, I think when the Warriors get into the playoffs, they're going to be like, oh shit, we have 4 All-Pros on our team. Let's score some points and stop them from scoring points, and it's just going to be that simple. So maybe I'm being naive, but because more hoops than me, but
I think that's a good point, and I would agree with that. And then I also think of, which I know they didn't have Kevin Durant on that team, but I think of how they They came back from 3-1 on the Thunder 2 years ago when the Thunder should have. I think this Rockets team is twice as good as that Thunder team. So if a team like Houston, I think, has this up, I think if this Houston team,
if they go up
2-1 or heaven forbid 3-1 or something like that, I don't think they allow that to happen. I think Westbrook was a big factor in that comeback too, him doing his hero ball bullshit. But I think that Golden State's they are the better team, I think. But Houston, there's something about them. I don't know. Maybe this is the year Chris Paul finally, because I think a lot of Chris Paul's playoff losses isn't necessarily on him because he shows up in playoffs. Everybody's like, Chris Paul don't show up in his playoffs. No, Chris Paul shows up. His teams show up.
He's like the basketball equivalent of Aaron Rodgers, just without the ring.
I mean, he beat. Everybody's like, what has Chris Paul done in the playoffs? I saw him beat the Spurs in a series on a last-second shot like 3 years ago. Like, he tried, like, I mean, I think. I don't
it's
know.
my turn to speak. Can I speak, please? I don't know. I originally had Houston, but James has kind of talked me out of it. What really worries me about the Rockets is they don't have anyone that can guard Durant on their roster.
They don't.
I look at it like James said. Chris Paul and Steph Curry kind of cancel each other out. Basically the same player. They're each are going to get his. Shooting guard wise, James Harden, Klay Thompson, kind of the same offensively, but defensively, James Harden's not that good defensively. Kind of a liability. And then I look at the 3 matchup, Durant, and I don't know who the heck's going to guard him from Houston. And then Draymond down low. I don't know much about the Rockets. Maybe they have more than I think. I just don't think they match up well with Houston. Golden State. I think Golden State plays better defense. I'm gonna change my pick and go Warriors in 6.
Thank you. Don't see it, man.
I fail to see it. I won't be shocked. I'm kind of cheering for it. I want someone different than Cleveland and Golden State in the finals.
I mean, I'm actually picking the Warriors to win the series in 7 games, I think. But, I mean...
You're right, though. It could be close.
We're so used to the NBA being so cut and dry, but for some reason, this year playoffs seem different. I mean, I haven't felt this way about an NBA playoff since, like, the 2009-2010 season when, like, you had the Lakers, and then it's like, who's going to play the Lakers? But and the Celtics ended up getting there. But at that same time that year, you could have gone Celtics, Lakers, Cavs, Mavericks, all these other teams. I feel like the past 4 or 5 years now, we've been on this LeBron and Golden State train. Like, who's going to win between LeBron or Golden State?
Which is an excellent segue. We're going to now get into the NBA Finals, wrap up. Andrew, I think did you formally pick Houston, or did you change the Golden State?
Golden State.
Okay.
Like, my heart said Houston could win the series, but my mind says Golden State's going to win the
So
series.
who wins the NBA Finals?
Golden State Warriors.
How many games?
Sweep.
They'll sweep the Cavs if they play
Really?
Really? I really think so. I mean, LeBron could maybe win them 1 game, but if they have to, the Warriors are the worst. The Warriors and the Rockets are like the worst matchup for the Cavs in all playoffs, and they'll have to play them to win the title. And LeBron's going to leave Cleveland, so this is his last hurrah. Cleveland's getting 1 more finals in their lifetime, and LeBron's going to bring them to their 4th final. It'll be their 4th final appearance. 5th final appearance.
15, 16, 17, 18. Maybe it is just 4.
07.
You took them in 09.
No. I meant just since he returned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Since he returned, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I hate that for LeBron. I hate LeBron too, but like, I'd like to see a competitive finals. But this is once again going to be a non-competitive finals.
Why can't every
Rick though?
Sixers be like Warriors Super Bowl?
Because I think if it was Sixers and Warriors, the Sixers would actually make that kind of a fun series. I know it's
entertaining,
but it's just
the Warriors would run them off the court.
James, you're saying Warriors in a sweep?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go gentleman's sweep. I'll say Warriors in 5. Just Cleveland doesn't have the matchups. They don't have somebody that can guard. Obviously LeBron. I'm sorry. Durant. LeBron can't even do it. They don't have someone that can guard Steph Curry. They don't have the guards in general. They don't have a wing that can guard him, even though LeBron's great. Because of LeBron's greatness, I'll give them a game in Cleveland, but Golden State should win in 5.
It'll be one of those series again where LeBron just puts up ungodly numbers, but he can't. Nothing he can do about the outcome.
Yep, I agree completely. Finals MVP, Andrew.
That snake reptile, Kevin Durant.
James.
Steph Curry.
I'm gonna go Durant. Steph Curry's banged up. He might get 20 points. I think he's gonna be more of a 7. No. I think Curry's, since he's banged up, he'll be more of a 17 to 20 guy. I'll be shocked if he averages more than 25 points in the postseason. I'm gonna go with Durant. He's the best player on that roster. I'm gonna go with Durant. But Andrew, thanks for coming on. Kind of last minute.
For having me again.
Yeah,
fun.
no problem. Like I said, I completely whiffed. I thought the NBA postseason started next week. Didn't even know. So I kind of got in touch with you last second. Supposed to be you and Chaz, and then Chaz backed out once again.
Chazzy, not here yet again.
Yep. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for tuning in. James and myself will be back next week. I'm not sure about a short. It'll definitely be a regular show.
All right.
Have a good weekend.